Welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to study about the important topic. It is sampling. Okay. So, what are the topics we are going to discuss about under sampling means? First one is what is the definition of sampling, and what is Shannon sampling theorem, and what is the expression. Okay. So, analytical analytical derivation for the sampling process, and the spectrum of the sampled signal, and what is the process aliasing, then Nyquist rate, what is Nyquist rate and what is Nyquist interval, we are going to discuss. Okay, so previously we that is in the third unit. Okay, in the second, that is in the first unit in signals and system, in first unit we studied classification of signals and system. In the second unit, analysis of continuous time signals, we discussed using the three mathematical tool: Fourier series, Fourier transform and Laplace transform. Okay, then the third unit, it's an analysis of continuous time system. Okay, so in that the systems, continuous time systems are analyzed using Laplace transform and Fourier transform, and this is the fourth unit. So what is that fourth unit means? It is an analysis of discrete time signals. Okay, so what is discrete signal? So in the first unit, in the first video itself, we defined there are two classification of signals. One is continuous time signal, another one is discrete time signal. Okay, that is the continuous time signal means the signal is having value in all instant of time. Okay, you see, this is the continuous time signal. This is the one. The continuous time signal is also called as analog signal. Okay, so this sine waveform is having value in all instant of time. Okay, in each time the signal is having their own amplitude. So this is called as continuous time signal. Okay, and a discrete signal means the signal is having value at a particular instant of time. So you see here, the signal is having value 0 at n equal to 0. At a time n equal to 1, the signal is having some amplitude. At n equal to 2, the signal is having some amplitude. Within this 1 to 2, the signal is having not at all any amplitude. Okay, so here the signal is defined only for some discrete instant of time. So this type of signal is called as a discrete time signal. Okay, so now we are going to analyze this discrete signal in this fourth unit. So first one, so in order to, but the real time, most of the real time signals are continuous signals only. Okay, if it may be it's a voice signal or speech signal, audio signal. So all signals are, all natural signals are continuous time signals only. Okay, but in order to process the signal digitally, we have to convert this continuous time signal into discrete signal first. Okay, so the process of converting the continuous time signal into discrete time signal is called as sampling. Okay, so sampling, it's a process. Okay, sampling is a process of converting continuous analog signal. Okay, analog means continuous time signal. The continuous time signal is in communication term, we are calling it as an analog signal. Okay, so in order to convert the continuous analog signal into discrete time signal, we are using the process. It is called as sampling. Okay, so the that is the circuit. In order to perform this sampling process, it is said to be the sampler. Okay, so here we are taking one sampler. So for this sampler, we are giving input as a continuous time signal x of t. Okay, so the continuous time signals are represented by small x of t. Okay, t is a continuous time variable. If you are taking output from the sampler, means the output of the sampler is a discrete time signal. The discrete time signal is represented by x of n. Okay, so the x of n is having value only at a discrete instant of time. That is, and at n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 only, the signal is having value. In between n equal to 0 to 1, the signal is having not at all amplitude. So this is said to be the discrete signal. Okay, so the process of converting continuous to discrete time signal, it is called as a sampling process. Okay, and the sampling question is a very important question. So you see, this question is asked 2018, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12. Okay, so every year from this, okay, so there are so many 2-mark question also. Okay, 2-mark definition also is there. And the problem, okay, the problem related to this sampling topic we will discuss in the next video. And the derivation, okay, the sampling process derivation and the spectrum diagram is a very important big question in this 4th unit. Okay, so this is a very repeated question. So we will see one by one. Okay, so first one we discussed the definition of sampling. Okay, so then the next thing is that what is the sampling process. Okay, so in this, so you should know some important technical term. Okay, sampling interval. So what is sampling interval means? The time interval between two subsequent sample is called a sampling interval. So you see this graph. Okay, this is the discrete signal. So in this discrete signal, you see, so this is the first sample. Okay, at n equal to 0, this is the first sample. At n equal to 1 is the second sample. So the time interval between first sample and second sample, this interval, this time period, it is called as the sampling interval. Okay, similarly, the interval between the second sample and third sample, it is also a sampling interval. So the sampling interval is equal in the sampling process. Okay, so the sampling interval means it's an interval between, okay, interval between two subsequent sampling instant. It is called as the sampling interval. Okay, and next one, in the sampling process, so how many sample we have to take for at least one cycle means, so in this previous thing you see, in this, so this is a one cycle. Okay, so this is a one cycle of continuous signal. So in the one cycle of continuous signal, so how many samples we are taking? So you just see 10 samples we are taking. Okay, this is the first sample, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Okay, so 12 samples we are taking. So for at least that is in the one cycle, so here we are taken 12 samples. Okay, so sometime we may take for this cycle we may take 10 sample, 8 sample, etc. Okay, so what is the use of that number of sample means? So if we want to represent the original message signal faithfully, it is necessary to take as many sample as possible. Okay, so that is you know, in the receiver side, that is in the transmitter side, we are converting the continuous time signal into discrete signal, and this discrete signal is processed and we are transmitted. Okay, we are transmitted in the channel. So similarly, in the receiver side, we have to recover the discrete continuous time signal. Okay, in the last step, in the loudspeaker, in the last step, so we have to recover the original continuous time signal from this discrete signal. Okay, so in which situation the exact continuous time signal is recovered in the receiver means we have to take a maximum number of samples per cycle. Okay, so for example, in this thing we taken 12 samples. Okay, so 12 sample means you see the shape, the envelope of this discrete signal is same as that of the continuous time signal. So in that case, so we will recover the original continuous time signal in a that is in the receiver process. Okay, in the recovery process. Okay, so that one is very important. Okay, so if in order to represent the original message signal faithfully, it is necessary to take as many samples of the original signal as possible. Okay, so the higher the number of sample means the closer is the representation. So if you are taking more number of sample in the process means, so we will recover the signal in a faithful manner. Okay, so that is the thing. And this number of samples, so how many sample we have to take? It is defined by sampling rate. Okay, so the sampling rate is one of the technical term in a communication system. So what is sampling rate? So rate means, you know, so rate means that is the time at which how many samples are taken. Okay, or otherwise number of samples taken per second, it is called as the sampling rate. Okay, so sampling rate means number of samples. Okay, number of samples taken per second, it is called as a sampling rate. Okay, and the next one, so in order to define, okay, so how many, that is how many sample at least we have to take in order to perform the sampling theorem. So in order to define, so the Shannon, okay, the Shannon was introduced one theorem, it is called as a Shannon sampling theorem. So without this sampling theorem, the communication system is not there. Okay, so in a communication, in any type of communication, So the sampling theorem, okay, in a digital communication, the sampling theorem is very important. Okay, so the first and foremost step in a digital communication is the sampling process. Okay, so in order to process the signal digitally, first we have to convert the continuous time signal into discrete signal. So that process we are calling it as a sampling. Okay, so this process is a very foremost and very important step. So this step is defined by one which is called as a Shannon's sampling theorem. Okay, so the sampling theorem was introduced by Shannon. That's why the name is called as Shannon's sampling theorem. So according to this Shannon's sampling theorem, so what is the statement? Okay, so this is a very important 2-mark question. Okay, define Shannon sampling theorem. It's a very important 2-mark question. So you see, this question is asked for 2011, 10, and 15. Okay, so it's a 2-mark. So what does Shannon sampling theorem means? A continuous time signal can be represented in its sample and can be recovered back when the sampling frequency Fs is greater than or equal to the twice the highest frequency component of message signal. Okay, you just see this is the condition. Fs is greater than or equal to 2 FM. What does Fs means? Fs is a sampling frequency. Okay, so in order to represent, that is in order to convert one continuous time signal into discrete signal, so how many sample we have to take at least for a one cycle means it is defined by this theorem. So according to this theorem, the sampling frequency, okay, the sampling frequency, it must be greater than or equal to twice the FM. FM is the maximum frequency component of our message signal. Okay, that is we know that our voice signal or audio signal, it consists of multiple frequencies. Okay, so the signal, the speech signal, it is not a single frequency. The signal is having multiple frequency. It is a composite signal. So for example, in that audio or speech signal, the highest frequency is at 20 kilohertz, means that 20 kilohertz, it is called as a FM. Okay, so in order to perform the sampling process, the sampling frequency compulsory we have to take greater than or equal to twice the FM. Okay, but twice the 20 kilohertz. So 40 kilohertz we have to consider as a Fs. Okay, so this is the Shannon sampling theorem. So a continuous time signal can be represented in its sample and can be recovered back when, in which situation the original signal is recovered back when the sampling frequency Fs is greater than or equal to twice the highest frequency of message signal. So this is the statement of Shannon sampling theorem. Okay, so it's a very important theorem you just study. And so this is the sampling process. Okay, so next one, so we defined what is mean by sampling, and what is sampling interval, and what is sampling rate, and what is the that is the minimum requirement of sampling theorem we discussed. Okay, so next one we are going to perform the sampling process. So in order to perform the sampling process, that is in order to convert the continuous time signal into discrete signal, so we have to perform this, that is the sampling process. So the sampling process is held by one multiplier. We are going to take one multiplier. So for that multiplier, we are going to give the two input. Okay, so what are the two input we are going to give means, one is our analog input, that is continuous time signal x of t, and another one is a del of t. So you know del, what is del? Impulse signal. Okay, so here this del of t is a impulse train we are taking. Okay, impulse train means, impulse signal means at t equal to 0 the signal is available, in the remaining time the signal is not available. So here the series of impulse train we are taking del of t. Okay, you see this is our message signal. Okay, this is our information signal or continuous signal or analog signal x of t. Okay, sine wave, and this is our sampled this is our sampling signal. Okay, sampling signal we are taking del of t. Okay, so here the del of t is a that is impulse train. Okay, so impulse train means the impulse signal is again and again repeating after a regular time interval. So you see what is the time interval between the first impulse and the second impulse is a Ts. So this Ts is said to be the sampling time. Okay, sampling time. The interval between two successive sample we are taking is a sampling interval. So these two signal we are going to given as a input to this multiplier. So if we are multiplying these two signal means we will get the output as a y of t. So that y of t, it is said to be the sampled signal, that is discrete time signal. So this is the discrete signal. So you just multiply. So multiply this two signal. This is an analog signal. This is discrete. Okay, already the del of t is in the nature of discrete. So if you are multiplying these two signal means what is the answer we will get? The del of t is having value at 0, ts, 2ts, 3ts, etc. Similarly, minus ts, minus 2ts, etc. So within the time, this del of t is not at all available. So that's why if you are multiplying these two signal means we will get the answer is that the shape is like the continuous, but the nature is the discrete. Okay, so this is the discrete signal we got. Okay, so the sampling process is held by multiplying the continuous time signal with impulse train, we will get the discrete signal. Okay, so we have to draw the diagram like this. Okay, so next one, we are going to derive the spectrum equation. Okay, so mathematically we are going to prove the sampling process. So mathematically we are going to, what is the mathematical expression for the sampled signal and what is the frequency spectrum of the sampled signal we are going to derive. Okay, so you see, so according to the previous diagram, the sampled signal y of t, it can be written as it's a product of x of t into del of t. Okay, so here you know x of t is an analog signal, continuous time signal, and del of t is a periodic periodic impulse train. Okay, so already you know the del of t is a periodic impulse train. Okay, so we may represent any periodic signal in the term of Fourier series. Okay, so we studied in the second unit, you know what is the use of Fourier series? The Fourier series is used to represent any continuous time periodic signal in terms of either sinusoidal or cosine or exponential format. Okay, so here this del of t signal we are going to represent in trigonometric Fourier series. Okay, so you know the formula, the trigonometric Fourier series representation of del of t is given by what is the trigonometric formula? So in x of t means, so del of t equal to a naught plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity an cos n omega st plus bn sin n omega st. In that formula omega naught we may put. So here the signal is having the frequency omega s we are considering. So instead of omega naught we may put omega s. Okay, so here this a naught, an and bn is said to be the Fourier series coefficient. Okay, so we have to calculate the Fourier series coefficient using the particular formula, and you know the formula for a naught. So what is the formula for the a naught? 1 divided by t naught integration over one cycle period the given signal x of t into dt. So here we are going to represent the signal del of t in Fourier series. So that's why in the place of x of t we are putting del of t. Okay, and so what is the answer for this integration? So already we studied in the first unit. Okay, in the first unit, the first topic is the unit impulse signal. Okay, so you know the impulse signal is available only at a time t equal to 0, and you know the area under the unit impulse signal is 1. Okay, so as per this property, what is this integration over one cycle period? Del of t integration over one cycle period, the particular del of t into dt, the answer for this one is 1. Okay, so that's why 1 by t naught into 1. So the answer for a naught is a 1 by t naught. Okay, so similarly the an is calculated by, what is the formula for an? 2 divided by t naught integration over one cycle period del of t cos n omega st into dt. Okay, cos n omega st into dt. So 2 divided by t naught. Then so you know the del of t. The del of t signal is available only at a time t equal to 0. Okay, so that's why this integration over the del of t integration, the area under this del of t signal is the value of 1. Okay, otherwise it may represented as the del of t signal is available only at a time t equal to 0. So in this expression you just substitute t equal to 0. So that's why del of 0 cos n omega naught 0. So what is cos 0? Cos 0 is 1. Del of 0 is 1. So that's why answer is 2 divided by T naught. Okay, so similarly we may calculate Bn value. What is Bn? 2 divided by T naught integration over one cycle period del of T sin n omega st into dt. Okay, similarly, you know, the del of T signal is available at T equal to 0. So that's why 2 by T naught del of 0 sin n omega is 0. So sin 0 is 0. So that's why the entire value is 0. So A naught value is 1 by T naught, An value is 2 by T naught, Bn value is 0. Okay, so we have to substitute this A naught, An, Bn in the trigonometric Fourier series representation of del of T. Okay, in the equation number 2. So we may get del of T equal to A naught values 1 by T naught plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity An is 2 by T naught cos n omega st plus Bn values 0. Okay, so this is the mathematical representation of the del of T signal. Okay, so mathematical representation of del of T in terms of cosine term. Okay, so we derived. So then the next one, so our aim is to find out the sampled signal mathematical expression. So we may substitute this del of T expression in this first equation. Okay, this y of T. So that's why, so the sampled signal y of T, okay, it can be written as x of T into del of T. So x of T into del of T value you just substitute. Okay, so here in this you take 1 by T naught. Here also 1 by T naught is common. So you just take 1 by T naught as a common, and this x of T you give it to internally. So x of T plus 2 into summation n equal to 1 to infinity cos n omega st into x of T. Okay, so this is the sampled signal. Okay, and if you are expanding this summation means so we may get 1 by T naught x of T plus 2 into x of T 2 into x of T 2 into x of T cos omega st plus if you are n equal to 2 means 2 into cos 2 omega st x of T plus etc. So this is the expression for sampled signal. Okay, so the sampled signal expression we derived in time domain. Okay, so next one, we have to draw the spectrum of the sampled signal. So in order to draw the spectrum, so we have to take, so you know, so what is the use of the Fourier transform? The Fourier transform is used to convert the time domain signal into frequency domain signal. So from that thing only we have to draw the spectrum. Okay, so that's why we have to take a Fourier transform for the above equation. Okay, so if you are taking Fourier transform for the y of T signal means what is the answer? Y of omega. So we may represent y of j omega or simply y of omega. So capital Y of omega equal to 1 by T naught is a constant. What is the Fourier transform of x of T? Capital X of omega plus you see 2. Okay, 2 is a constant. Then 2 cos omega st into x of T. So we studied in the Fourier transform the modulation theorem. Okay, or any signal x of T multiplied with cos omega naught T means the Fourier transform of that x of T cos omega st formula is that capital X of omega minus omega s plus capital X of omega plus omega s. Okay, so this is the modulation theorem. So we studied in the properties of Fourier transform. Okay, so that is any signal x of T multiplied with one cosine signal means the Fourier transform of this complete signal is that the spectrum is shifted by omega s to the right side plus the spectrum is shifted to the left side by omega s. Okay, so this is the answer. Similarly here 2 cos 2 omega st x of T means the Fourier transform of this signal is x of omega minus what is this frequency 2 omega s plus x of omega plus 2 omega s etc. Okay, so this is the Fourier transform of our sampled signal. So this expression we may simplify it into like this. Okay, so this is the Fourier transform, that is the frequency spectrum of our sampled signal. Okay, and the next one, so we are going to draw the frequency spectrum graph for the input signal as well as the sampled signal. So here we are assuming it as x of omega. X of omega is a, it's a frequency spectrum of input signal. Y of omega is the frequency spectrum of the output signal. So you see, if we are considering x of omega, the spectrum of the continuous time signal is like this, means what is the sampled spectrum? The sampled spectrum is nothing but, so you see, from this equation, the sampled spectrum is nothing but addition of what is x of omega, input spectrum, plus what is x of omega minus omega s, the input spectrum shifted to the right side by omega s amount. What is x of omega plus omega s? The input spectrum shifted to the left side by the amount minus omega s. Similarly, what is this one? It is x of omega minus 2 omega s, means the input spectrum shifted to the right side by 2 omega s. Okay, similarly 3 omega s and so on. So from this, the output spectrum is nothing but the addition of infinite number of shifted input spectrum. So you see, so y of omega is nothing but the center is said to be the x of omega. Okay, and this x of omega you just shift by the amount omega s. This is the x of omega minus omega s. Similarly, this is the x of omega plus omega s. This one is a x of omega minus 2 omega s, etc. Okay, so this is nothing but the spectrum of the sampled signal. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, and in this output spectrum, so you see there is no overlapping between the first spectrum and the next spectrum. Okay, so if you are performing the sampling process according to the Shannon sampling theorem. Okay, what is Shannon sampling theorem? The sampling frequency fs, it must be greater than or equal to 2 into fm. Okay, if you are taking the sampling frequency like that, means at the time only there is no overlapping between the adjacent spectrums. Okay, so but if you are taking, okay, so you see, so these are all the 3 different spectrums under 3 different sampling frequency. Okay, so the first one, according to the first one, the sampling frequency fs is greater than 2 fm. Okay, if you are choosing the sampling frequency fs is very greater than 2 fm, means the spectrum is no overlapping. Okay, so we are getting some that is a free band between first spectrum and second spectrum. Okay, so this is called as a oversampling. Okay, and the second one, if the Shannon sampling theorem fs is equal to 2 fm, means in that case also we are not at all getting any overlapping. Okay, so this is the perfect sampling. And the third one is, if the fs value, if you are choosing less than 2 fm, means, so you see the first spectrum get overlapped with the second spectrum and the previous spectrum. Okay, so at the time, so we may get in this, so this type of sampling we are calling it as a undersampling. Okay, so due to this overlapping of the first spectrum with adjacent spectrum, so here we may get some loss of information. Okay, so this frequency component is that is erased. Okay, so that process we are calling it as a aliasing. Okay, so in order to perform the sampling process, so we may take at least fs is equal to 2 fm or fs is greater than 2 fm. So if you are combining these two conditions, that is called as the Shannon's theorem. So fs value is greater than or equal to 2 fm compulsory there will be available. Okay, if fs is less than 2 fm, means we may get overlapping. This overlapping process, due to this overlapping, there may be a aliasing problem will occur. Okay, so the next one, aliasing. So what is mean by aliasing? So already I told, if the signal x of t is not a band limited signal, or the sampling frequency fs is less than 2w, means we may get error. It is called as a aliasing error. The other name of aliasing error, it is called as a fold over. Okay, so this aliasing, why aliasing will occur? The adjacent spectrums are overlapped. In which situation? We are selecting the sampling frequency fs is less than 2w. Okay, so due to this aliasing, so we may get distortion. Okay, so because of this aliasing, what is the effect means? Due to this adjacent overlapping, we may get distortion. Okay, so because of this distortion, so there is a loss of information is there. Okay, so this aliasing is also a important 2-mark question. Okay, And so this is the definition of aliasing. Okay, the phenomena of high frequency in the spectrum of original signal taking on the identity of lower frequency in the spectrum of sampled signal is called as aliasing. That is, the first spectrum overlapped with the second spectrum. It is called as a aliasing process. So due to aliasing, some of the information in the original signal is lost in the process of sampling. Okay, so that's why we have to avoid this aliasing process. So how to eliminate aliasing means, so we may use the two method in order to eliminate the aliasing. Okay, so the first method is that we have to use anti-aliasing filter. Okay, so before sampling, okay, the input signal x of t, before performing the sampling process, we have to pass the signal x of t via one filter. Okay, so this filter is called as an anti-aliasing filter. So this anti-aliasing filter is a low pass filter. Okay, it is simply a low pass filter. So low pass filter means low. It allows only up to the cutoff frequency. It will reject the remaining frequencies. Okay, so before performing the sampling process, the signal, our input signal x of t is passed via one filter. It is called as an anti-aliasing filter. Okay, so if you are passing the signal via anti-aliasing filter means, so there may be a chance in order to remove the process aliasing. Okay, so anti-aliasing filter, it is also a important 2-mark question. So a filter that is used to reject the high frequency signal before it is sampled in order to reduce the aliasing, it is called as an anti-aliasing filter. Okay, so this filter is mainly used to reject the high frequency signal before sampling. That's why this filter is called as an anti-aliasing filter. Okay, and what is the second step in order to eliminate the aliasing is that the sampling rate fs. Okay, the fs we may take very greater than 2w. Okay, so if you are taking the fs value is very greater than 2w, here w is the bandwidth of the input signal or maximum frequency of the input signal. Okay, if you are taking the sampling frequency like this means at the time also we may not get aliasing. Okay, so we discussed in the spectrum, so you see this spectrum. So in this, the fs is greater than 2 fm means there is no overlapping between the two spectrum. Okay, so at the time there is no aliasing process. Okay, in which time the aliasing will come? Only the fs is less than 2 fm only we may get aliasing. Okay, so in order to avoid this aliasing, so we may take fs is very greater than 2 fm. Okay, so these are all the two methods to eliminate the aliasing process. One is by the use of anti-aliasing filter. Another one is we have to select the filter. We have to select the sampling frequency is greater than 2 into W or 2 into FM. Okay, and the next one. So in this sampling, so there is an important technical term is there, Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. So what does Nyquist rate means? It is the minimum sampling rate at which the signal can be converted into sample and recovered back without distortion. Okay, that is, in the sampling process, we know that the sampling frequency fs is greater than or equal to 2 fm. Okay, so what is the minimum condition of that is Shannon sampling theorem? Fs is equal to 2 fm. That is the minimum condition. So that minimum condition we are calling it as a Nyquist rate. Okay, so the Nyquist rate is a minimum sampling rate at which the signal to be converted. That is, in one cycle at least we have to take how many sample, okay, in order to recover the signal originally. So that rate we are calling it as a Nyquist rate. So the formula for the Nyquist rate is 2 into fm. Okay, so what is fm? Fm is the maximum frequency component of the given message signal. Okay, so if the given message signal is having the maximum frequency of 20 kilohertz means the Nyquist rate is 2 into 20 kilohertz, 40 kilohertz. Okay, so in the next video, we are going to solve the problem related to this Nyquist rate and Nyquist interval. So the next one is a Nyquist interval. So what is Nyquist interval? The reciprocal of this Nyquist rate, it is called as a Nyquist interval. So Nyquist interval is equal to 1 divided by Fn, that is 1 divided by 2 Fm. It is called as a Nyquist interval. Okay, so these are all the different thing behind the sampling process. Okay, so it is a very important big question. Okay, sampling process. Okay, so what are the things we discussed? So first, what is mean by sampling? It's a process of converting continuous time signal into discrete signal. Okay. Then in order to perform the sampling process, we must obey the Shannon sampling theorem. So according to Shannon sampling theorem, the sampling frequency Fs, it must be greater than or equal to 2 into Fm. Okay, this is the Shannon sampling theorem. Then this is the sampling process. So we have to multiply one continuous time signal with impulse train, means we may get sampled output. Okay, so this is the thing. Then this is the mathematical expression for the sampled signal. Okay, so for the sampled time domain signal, if we want to draw the spectrum, means we have to take Fourier transform. Okay, so according to this spectrum, so we may get the sampled spectrum is nothing but the addition of input spectrum plus shifted input spectrum by the amount omega s. This is also a shifted by the amount minus omega s, 2 omega s, 3 omega s, etc. Okay, so that's why this is the graph for the spectrum. Okay, and in this thing, if the sampling rate is different means what about the spectrum you see? Okay, so in this, in which situation we may get overlapping, Fs is less than 2 Fm. So compulsory. So without overlapping, if we want to perform the sampling process, means the Fs value we have to take at least greater than or equal to 2 Fm. Okay, that is called as a Shannon sampling theorem. Okay, so due to the overlapping, that overlapping error is called as aliasing or fold over. Okay, so due to this aliasing, some information in that thing is lost. Okay, so in order to eliminate the process aliasing, we may use two steps. One is we have to use anti-aliasing filter before sampling, and another one is we have to choose the sampling rate as greater than 2W. Okay, so these are all the two important steps in order to perform the in order to remove the aliasing process. Okay, so these are all the things behind the sampling process. Okay, so thanks for watching my channel, and keep watching. In the next video we are going to discuss about the problems related to this sampling. Okay, thank you.